is Sherlock Jr.
I mean,
Uh,
it's a pretty famous one, I would say.
I saw this one in college too, but not in a class, just casually,
Yeah.
and it became like I was like a huge advocate for this movie.
I mean,
Like
it's very fun.
yeah, yeah,
I really had never seen this all the way through. I'd seen the one or one of the several like famous scenes of the movie screen scene where he goes to
yeah.
the screen and then it's the scene is changing and it's all the best match cuts anyone has ever done.
Buster Keaton in this movie is a projectionist,
Indeed, he is.
eh, who wants to be a detective. Eh?
Is
No, no,
that
I'm just a projectionist. But representation on screen is very
there? You
important.
go.
Uh, and yeah, he's reading a book. He wants to become a detective. He's reading a book called How to Be a Detective,
I mean, it seems like a good place to start.
and he falls asleep in the projection booth, which is a big no-no. Or at
I
least
would
while you're
imagine
running
so.
a movie.
Yeah.
I've fallen asleep in a projection booth, but not while a 35 millimeter film is running.
Like, how specifically you're qualifying that?
Look, sometimes you're in the booth until 3 in the morning, and then you gotta be back at 7 in the
Yeah.
morning,
Hey, I
and it's
hear
an
you.
hour drive home. Nah, nah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he falls asleep, and so it's able to kind of break with reality,
Hmm.
and be in this kind of heightened reality, uh, because most of the movie takes place in the dreams of a projectionist who wants to be a detective.
Hmm. Yeah.
In his dream, a kind of like, you know, Bugs Bunny dying, like ghostly form emerges from his sleeping body, and then becomes material and walks down into the theater, and thus begins this kind of thing that like I was so impressed by when I saw
Hmm.
it in college. I still think it's great. Um,
I mean, yeah,
where
match cuts are really hard to do, and these are like nearly flawless.
Oh yeah, not even just the mash cuts though, but like the fact of him walking into the screen,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
He starts off in the audience, watching the movie along with the audience, then he walks up toward the screen and then steps into it. Like there's a cut where it stops being something projected and becomes a three-dimensional stage behind the
Hmm.
screen. And so in this very seamless way, he walks up and then walks just straight inside the
Hmm.
movie. So good, so interesting and experimental. That was the thing that really blew my mind at
Yeah.
the time. I think that's great. And then another kind of messing with form thing, like you were talking about, is that once he is in the movie, it kind of goes back to not being a 3D set
Hmm.
anymore. It becomes a projection inside of the movie theater that you're still seeing around, wrapping around the outside. But then he starts experiencing editing as a being that is slipped
Yeah.
out of the landscape of the
It's
movie.
like the scene
So the
keeps changing, but he stays in the same spot. So then
yeah,
it's like, oh no, like he fell off a bench because it turned into a rock or whatever.
yeah.
Um, they're more fun than what I just described, but
Yeah, he like is trying to like walk somewhere, and then like the scene changes, and then it's just a door, and
hmm.
then he runs into the door, or he's all of a sudden standing on the edge of a cliff. It leaves me wondering a little bit what happened with this movie and why it's being edited this way. It was a normal movie, and
Right.
then all of a sudden it's just a bunch of abstract shots of random
I mean,
places.
hey, this is his dream. It doesn't have to operate on a strict logic.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I am just impressed with they had to have shot because these are all shot in different locations. Some of which are one of them is up a mountain, one of them is like
in the
on
snow.
in the snow, one of them is like in the ocean, and the match cutting is like where Buster Keaton is in the frame is exactly the same between
Yeah,
these different scenes. And I would really like to know how they just planned that. Like, did they like put a mark on the lens and just like shot everything exactly on that mark or something? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but it is so sort of like seamless in its finished version that it's still just really impressive to watch.
And yeah, so that's like the big thing in the movie. Though there are some like
But there's so
uh
much else in it too.
yeah.
There's all the great detectives. So then it's like his dream kind of settles into this thing where he's like solving a crime that is very similar to a crime that he has just experienced, where he's in the middle of a love triangle with this woman that her other suitor has stolen her dad's watch and pawned it, and then blamed it on Buster.
Blame it on Buster.
And so in his dream, he shows up as a detective, as Sherlock Jr. You know,
The famous detective,
the
yeah.
son of the famous detective. And he comes in, and it's sort of like, but it's like the house is kind of fancier. Everyone is sort of dressed in much more like wealthy clothing. And he sort of
Yes, this
has
kind of
this
mix of like the movie that was being played in the theater with his reality.
yeah, this sort of like chamber drama or whatever. That he then invades and becomes a detective in. And so he's like, having this aspirational dream of being a detective and solving the crime in the scene that we see, until he is eventually woken up and has to solve the crime in real life also. Well, I guess he doesn't really solve the crime in real life. It kind of resolves itself more than anything. But
yeah. He's a bumbler. He's a bit of a bumbler.
yeah, but the way it resolves in the dream is just a bunch of great set pieces and like cool Buster Keaton gags.
Oh my god. Like once again, there are some just ridiculous stunts in this movie.
Like I'm still, it is the thing. At this point, I shouldn't be as like surprised by like these silent movie stunts, but they are so simultaneously precise and also just wild and insane.
Yeah. In particular, there's a point where he's like on top of like a 5-story building, and there's like one of those big arms that
Yeah,
like comes down in front of like a train track when a train's going,
yeah,
and there is a car that he is trying to reach that is down on ground level, and so the car starts moving, and then he like hops onto the top edge of this like folded up like train gate, and then rides it all the way down, and arcs just like perfectly down into the moving car, and he just plops into the back seat.
but the
And
timing of the car
whoa!
driving has to be perfect for that to work. Like all of it is timed out so amazingly, and it's all done in one
Yeah,
shot. It's not cutting between anything. It's all just this one
and
wide.
it's real. Yeah.
It is. I think we brought it up on this show before, but the Ever Frame a Painting video about Jackie Chan stunts
Yeah.
and how much they're kind of and there's one about Buster Keaton, I think also. And how like if you're gonna do a cool stunt, make sure that you do the whole thing in one shot. Otherwise, it looks fake because then even if you did it for real, right? If you have edits in it, people are gonna
Right.
not think that actually you did.
They're
it
gonna
for
not
real.
think that your lizard dragon is real.
Yeah, exactly. So, just the like the creativity behind some of them too is so great. There's the one where he has like a woman's dress in this like round like paper thing that he puts in a window outside the sort of villain's hideout.
Yeah.
And so he goes in and he's like has this whole thing in the villain's
Yeah, he
hideout
gets into an altercation.
yeah, where he's like gets the stolen jewels and then he jumps through the window, through the paper bag so that and through the dress. So then he is able to just immediately stand up and is wearing a dress and he can kind of walk away like he's in disguise. And all the villains run out and they're like, "Oh, where'd he go? Where'd he go?"
There's just a random woman walking by,
Yeah,
and like, yeah, he dresses himself instantly by jumping
by
through
jumping
the window.
through a window.
So good.
Incredible. And there's some amazing like motorcycle stunts in this movie. Um, it does a great thing of like combining different methods and like effects and tricks and things like that. So there's one where he's on this like narrow bridge and two trucks are driving by simultaneously and he drives over them like perfectly as they line up in
Oh,
the
oh
gap in the
my
bridge,
god.
which
Yeah.
isn't a real stunt. He drove across straight and it's like a split screen. So like the trucks
I see.
are shot separately. But then immediately following that, there's a different shot that is done in camera where it's like the bridge starts to collapse and it like he like rides the collapsing bridge down into and then keeps riding the motorcycle. It's crazy. I feel like us just describing stunts is maybe not the best podcasting, but
This is why it's tough
yeah.
to. Well, is us describing movie plots the best podcasting?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I feel like my opinion of this movie is great and everyone should watch it. So,
Yes, it's only 45 minutes long.
yeah.
This, I think, is like if you want something even more approachable than Thief of Baghdad. I think this was like kind of my
Yeah.
first silent movie as like a non-child, and I loved this so much.
Yeah.
It's really it's short. It's full of action. It's really funny. Super good.
If I have one knock against it, it's that the combination of like movie theater projectionist stuff and detective stuff feels kind of slapdash. It's like, what are two
Yeah.
occupations that Buster Keaton could have in a movie? You can make a detective movie or a projectionist movie. Let's just do them at once. Like,
Yeah.
we have enough gags for like, you know, two reels here, two reels here. Let's just throw them together, you know.
Right.
But it works and it integrates in an interesting way. It's instead of just being like one thing, another thing. It does
Yeah.
combine the two.